The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up, and welcome to another edition of Cowboys StoryLine. I am Nick Eatman here, Wednesday, August the 7th here in Oxnard, California. Got a lot going on here, not the storylines you guys want. You guys want to see new contracts. You want to see things like that. You want to see these players, including CeeDee Lamb, get here. Not here yet. I still feel like it'll happen. But still, so many other things to talk about. These practices are going on. Seeing some good things out here. I think the backup receivers continue to do well. Now, with anything in a practice, you could say, well, what's wrong with the cornerbacks then, if that's the case? Get it? That's part of practice. There's ups and downs. Micah Parsons, it can't be blocked, and that's just the way that it is. So he really seems like he's shining in this defense. He really likes it with what Zimmer's doing with him. So all this talk about they haven't spoken and they haven't really communicated and all this, they're communicating their own little language right now, and it's really working. And so that's fun to see. We can talk about all that here as we move on here. Remember, the phone line is there, 214-387-1659. That's our camp number, so don't forget the other one. But that's the one here for camp. And we're going to get right on the line here. Let's get it going. Michael's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Michael, what's up, man?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. We got some cooler weather now here in Kentucky. We got a little get out of that mid-90s for a few days, getting the low 80s.
Michael, we don't talk weather.
Well, we don't talk about it. Okay. I got a question about three players. Nothing too controversial. Peyton Hendershot, Deuce Vaughn, and then the corner we used to have that we really need back. If Deuce Vaughn, I think if they come up with somebody drops a number 4 running back somewhere and Dallas picks him up, I'm wondering if Deuce is going to make it. And as well as Stevenson's playing, I'm wondering about Peyton Hendershot. And I'm wondering if they're going to pick that corner up, which I think they should. What's your thoughts on that, Jason?
I wish I heard you 100% there. Deuce Vaughn and Peyton Hendershot. Are you basically just asking if they're going to make the team?
Yeah, I'm wondering, do you think they're going to both make the team?
They seem to be on the outside looking in at this point, just because Deuce is hurt. Oh, man. Deuce is hurt right now, and he hasn't shown, he hasn't shown a consistency when he is out there. So we haven't seen a lot of good things from him right now just because he's been banged up. Royce Freeman has done a nice job. He had a groin injury. Hold up, Chris. Chris and I are trying to communicate a little bit. This is one of those things. It's too loud, and then it's not too loud, and so we're trying to get our levels down with the mowers here. Royce Freeman's done a nice job when he's healthy, and I think that they see a lot of value in him. They see value in Hunter Lipke as well. And watch out for Princeton Fant. He's doing some interesting things there from a tight end H-back type of role. So when you're factoring everybody in, Rico Dowdle's got some reps with the ones. Zeke's looked pretty good at times. You can't make the team when you're banged up right now. So Deuce needs to get back and needs to get back in time to play in some of the preseason games. So he's going to have a hard time there at tight end. Yeah, I mean, you're just like these younger guys. John Stevens looks like he's going to have a role for sure. Brevin Spanford is just such a big body that you want to see him do some more things. And so when you factor in Schoonmaker and, of course, Ferguson, it makes sense to like these guys get squeezed out, but they have a say in the matter. They can come back and do some things as well. And Hendershot's been okay. I mean, he really has been. He's been good. You know, he's slimmed down a lot. He looks more like a big wide receiver. So he's going to have to take that to the game as well. He seems like he's been close to making some big plays, but not a lot of them. But again, you know, the game can change everything. So.
What do you think about that corner that we should
Which corner exactly? Other than Mo Claiborne, which corner are you talking about? I can't. I couldn't hear that part.
I'm talking about Gilmore.
Gilmore?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I mean, this is probably as worse as we've heard it here since we've been. And I apologize, Michael. I could not hear that. So. Let's move on. I'll try to answer that one later when I figure out who that was. Let's go to Anthony in Miami.
My main man, Nick the Quick.
What's up, bud?
I guess you can hear me good.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciation to you, Chris. I guess Derek had something to do with it, and Joneses for the shirts. I love my shirt, man. On StoryLine
Good.
Second Team. I'd like to tell you something real quick. Nick, remember this? Nick, I love football. I love everything about it. I love it on Friday night when you're looking for a win, and Saturday morning when you found one. So when I say that,
Radio.
and I've been listening, yes, sir, you know it. When I say it and I've been listening, I listen to all the shows. As I say, I always promote the shows, tell everybody, stop watching them TV pundits, especially the ones that hate, and watch these shows. You got 7 Cowboy shows. You got streaming, training camp stuff with Mr. Jones, Nate, and them, Cal, and them. We got good stuff, so you guys can see some of the players sometimes for yourself. I saw Nick with Cal. I saw Kyle and Patrick Walker. You know, so
Right.
You guys can catch that stuff on the Star, the app, the YouTube, and it'll let you see what you need to see. Now, as far as the Joneses and the contracts, I'm not going to be a contrarian on what the Joneses have done, and as long as I've been a Cowboy lifelong fan. I'm not going to be a contrarian because they brought joy to me. And of course, they haven't won nothing as far as Super Bowls in a while, and NFC championships, but to the other, like, they brought a lot of things to us. So I trust them in what they're going to do. CeeDee Lamb will be in camp. You're going to go by 34.5, 35 mil. CeeDee Lamb will be in camp in the next 2 weeks. Now, I trust them to do what they're going to do with that. I hope 55, 56, something around the 57 does it, because you do reset the market. You don't have to reset it at 60. So with those things being said, I hope those guys, you know, get that together. That's why he's my favorite active Cowboy. They're gonna get it together, and we're gonna do something. And my pet cats, I'm still watching them: Dowdle, Jawanye Thomas, and Tolbert. And I've added Nealon to that. He's the 4th because we need him now for Sam.
Yeah.
So that's basically all I had to say, man. Y'all keep the optimism, man, on this thing. We're gonna be all right, man.
For sure.
We're gonna be all right.
All right. Yep.
All right, Nick.
All right, Anthony. Appreciate the call. You know, you've always
All right,
had a good, unique perspective. I don't know how unique it is. I mean, it's just a different perspective than some of the other fans. Just the positive vibes. Again, I think you're old enough to appreciate some good times, and you've seen it, and you know what that feeling is like. And then it's also just the kind of excitement and hunger, or what, you know, to get back there. When you never really have experienced it, then man, that certainly is, you know, it's something that you just want to feel, you want to see what's happening. Not always goes down like that. But your pet cats you talked about, Jalen Tolbert was one of them. He's done a nice job. He really has. He looks like he's kind of grown into his role, and that's one thing that I kept looking at. When he struggled his first year, I looked at his freshman year at South Alabama, and I think he had 8 catches. And then the next year he had like 40, and then 68 or something like that. And so even at the college level, he learned how to figure it out, and I think he's learned how to figure it out here in the pro level as well. And he's getting these opportunities with you know, CD being out, and I don't know if this happened at South Alabama, but there's no way he could have gotten a better mentor than Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, for what he does for these young receivers, is amazing. He's so confident in what he's doing. And people think, well, why Don't all people do this? Don't all veterans? No, they don't, because they understand that, the time in the league is precious. And so why are you trying to help this guy who's trying to take your job? But Brandon Cooks is so confident in what he does and who he is as a person. I mean, they asked him that question of what motivates him to do that, and he said it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's not just what I do to help the football team, whatever. He goes, that's who he is. And that's really refreshing to see. But Brandon Cooks has helped Jalen Tolbert get to another level here, and we're really seeing the benefits on the field. All right, Greg in Sacramento. I just met Greg the other day here at the fence line. So, Greg, what's up, bud?
Hey, Nick. Yep, you remember. I tried to get in on Monday, but, man, that phone line is
It was tough.
busy.
Well,
So,
thanks for trying. But, yeah, you had a really good front row seat over there at practice. Was that on a Saturday?
Yeah, no, actually it was on Friday.
They all run together. I don't even.
I bet they do. But it was great to meet you. I wanted to shout you guys. Actually, all of the Dallas Cowboys media. I wanted to shout all you guys out because you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
My son, so Benji, you guys signed a little ball for Benji.
Yeah.
And,
Benji.
Yeah, and he was so excited to get all your guys' signatures because we listen to you guys all the time. When I take him to school, when I pick him up, we're always listening to the podcast. And so when I explained to him who actually signed, because I think I got your signature, I got Derek's signature, I got Patrick Nosey, I got Isaiah Stanback, I got Kyle Yeoman's. And I think that was all. I was trying to get Brian's, but he was busy on the other side.
Well, Brian charges a fee. You can't just get a free autograph for Brian. I'm just
you
kidding.
guys are all awesome, man. You guys are also awesome. He was so excited to get that ball. But it didn't have. I mean, I guess it had a player. I mean, Isaiah's an ex-player, so it had his signature on it. But I felt like he was more excited to get your guys' signatures than he was like the players. So it was pretty.
Well,
it was pretty cool. He knew that when I brought him the ball. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate that from you guys.
You're welcome. For sure.
And it was really cool to actually meet you in person too. That was cool too.
Yeah,
so
we chopped it up on the sideline. It was good.
Yeah, that was really cool. So,
what you got, Greg?
Anyway, a couple of questions, just two quick questions for you. The first one is going to be about Micah. So, I mean, am I the only one who's excited that he's going to be playing like more linebacker? Because he can still blitz and get sacks from the linebacker position. I mean, I haven't played for a very long time, but I used to play in college too, and I mean, I played linebacker, and I used to blitz the quarterback all the time. So, I mean, and the thing is, like now he can move around and do different kind of things, and they can still line him up when they need, when they want him in the pass rush on the edge or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really excited that he's going to be actually playing more linebacker this year, hopefully, and I don't think it'll take away from his performance and things like that. I mean, he can still affect the game at quarterback. I mean, I'm sorry, at a linebacker.
He's gonna.
He can cause fumbles. He can play some run defense. I mean, to me, a fumble is better than a sack. So.
All right, you got another question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. And the other question was, I wanted to ask you, since you're there at the training camp, what was your what's your favorite thing that you've seen from the O-line? So what's your favorite thing from the O-line? Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
All right, and
appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
The first part, I thought, here's the ironic thing about what you asked about linebacker. He's been listed as a linebacker every minute that he's been on the team. He's been a linebacker. Yesterday, they do the press release for the first game of the season, which gives you the depth chart for the first time. And what is Micah Parsons? A defensive end. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on this one. They got him listed at end. He's been actually lining up more at linebacker than we've seen. So, I don't know what to tell you. I just think that he's gonna be out there, of course, and he's gonna be all over the place, and that's kind of the exciting thing. I talked to him a little bit 2 days ago. Wrote a story on the website right now. He basically was like, "It's all installed now. We're all in. All of the plays are in," and he goes, "They can't stop me." He goes, "If I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, they're really not going to be able to block me." And so, and it sounds very arrogant, cocky, but it's true right now. Nobody out here has been able to really block him. And Terrence Steele said something interesting when they asked, because I asked him, how much going up against Micah gets you better. And he was just talking about the skies. He said, "Good luck with that." From the opposing teams, just trying to get blocked. Just trying to recognize them and then get them blocked. All right, let's go to Josh in Princeton, Texas, and then we'll take a break.
Hey Nick, how's it going?
I'm good. What's up, man?
I'm a first-time caller, but a long-time listener.
All right. Appreciate it.
So I've been talking to Dylan and Rob in the StoryLine community on X, and I just wanted to make a comment about the first call on the last show.
Yeah.
Sparked the whole debate
Yeah.
about the whole regular season versus playoffs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of relate to what he was saying, but I don't think that he really meant that the regular season didn't matter.
Yeah.
I just think that.
And I know that because you're calling me in early August at training camp. Like, I get it. It's not like you're going to take a nap and hibernate until I get that. And I know he doesn't do that, but it's just hard to say that because no one really believes it. It's just everything is like, oh, wait and see. Yep, this is all good. Good game, good win, but... And it's just that dark cloud that's just lingering. So I understand it too, but I think there's a better way to say it.
Yep, and I agree with you. My opinion is that after experiencing 12-5 3 years in a row, I think it's just a change in confidence until you see something different happening. Like if you think about it, 3 years ago, I was so confident that they can advance further in the playoffs, and then you had the game against San Francisco, and it was a close game until the end. And then, it was kind of a build-up. Okay, next year we can get them. And then the whole thing happened with Pollard getting hurt, and the game wasn't so close. And then last year it was just like a blowout. So it's like, I don't think, just say hypothetically they go 12-5 this year, my confidence level just won't be the same as it was 3 years ago.
No, and I get that. That's why last year's loss was so tough. Because before that, they were not better than the 49ers. They haven't been better. The Niners are at a different level than the Cowboys are. And and even though we didn't think that first year because they kind of snuck into the playoffs in the last seed and then they came to Dallas, but they were, from a mismatch standpoint, the Cowboys, they were just way better, and they have been. Their style just doesn't match up with what the Cowboys are doing right now, and so that's just kind of where it is. Now, last year's game was tough because you didn't expect that out of Green Bay, but it's the same type of thing. And I think the Cowboys need to realize that. What is getting them beat in the playoffs? It's a team that can run the football and is more physical than them, and so that's been the case here really 3 years in a row.
Yep, and I remember the funny thing is last year, I remember telling my wife that, oh yeah, they should beat the Packers. It's more about the matchup in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was I wrong.
Yep, and I think that'll be the case. Go ahead.
Also, I think another thing that would happen, if they make it to the playoffs and get bounced early again, I think the front office is going to be at a crossroads on how they handle things. As far as philosophy, like should they continue on business as usual or should they try to make a splash to get them over the top? I think you have to consider that, at that point. But, we'll see. It's all hypotheticals. I just, I've heard that caller call a lot of times, so I just don't think he really meant to, he didn't say it the right way, I guess.
Yeah.
But I kind of relate to what he was saying.
And I think we all do. I think you said it best. If the playoffs happen, you guys got to, let's not just put them in here. This is going to be a tough one for the Cowboys to get back to the playoffs. But if they do, I think the expectations will be lessened a little bit. But I think if they get into the playoffs, I think we'll see the body of work here. We'll see the struggle. We'll see what type of team they are. I don't think anyone will be looking ahead to anything. I think it'll be, probably just excited to be there because I do think this is going to be a more of a challenge of a season.
Okay.
So,
All right. I appreciate that, Nick.
all right, Josh.
Glad to finally be able to call in.
Yeah, well, here we go. Here we go. All you guys that are calling for the first time out here, call back when we get back to Dallas. We get back to our studio. Remind us and say, "This is not my first call, but my first call was in Oxnard." That'll be an immediate. Here we go. Unless we do something different, maybe we'll think of something. Maybe we got a different thing for a first time caller. Anyways, we're gonna take a break real quick. Thanks for the call, Josh. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back here on Cowboys Storyline.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys!
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, is the official fan club. You can receive access to all new Cowboys drops, features, team news, pre-sale access, and fan and kit of the game. Download the app now to join. All right, we go back to the phone lines. We've got Champ. He's in Nebraska. Champ.
Hello?
Are you there, Champ?
Yes, I'm here.
What's up?
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Hey, finally was able to call in. I hadn't been able to get in since you guys have been back at training camp. Been busy with work, so I was going on a little drive today, and I thought I'm going to be able to try to call in, and I was able to get in.
You got it.
Glad to have you guys back.
You're the champ. What's up?
I appreciate that. Hey, so I don't mean to beat on a dead horse, and I couldn't hear the last caller's comments. I could just hear your part.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he was kind of talking about the same thing, but I was calling in reference to Michael's call the other day when he led off about the 12-5 season and how it doesn't really mean anything once you get beat in the playoffs. And he's right to a certain extent. None of that matters unless you win the last game of the season and you're holding the trophy. Otherwise, your season could be good, but it wasn't what you wanted. But you can't remotely even get close to that if you don't have that 12-5 season or that 11-6 and make the playoffs. I see on the Storyline's Twitter deal, that's the question that they talked about is, does it matter if you go 12-5 and lose in the divisional round again? I think it does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that 12-5 is important to give you that opportunity. If you don't do that 12-5, you don't have the opportunity, then the whole season is a waste. So if I'm beating that dead horse and that's what you talked about, I apologize. My other thing I thought of on the fly, if that's what he talked about, was just wondering if there's any update on CD. I know, Sunday's coming quick and that $1 million fine is coming fast. Do you think he'll show up and be like, hey, I'm here before I get that $1 million fine? Or do you think that he's willing to hope they waive that?
Yeah, I mean, and the Cowboys, it's their decision. It's up to the discretion of the team in this particular case, if they want to do that. And they're kind of keeping it kind of quiet on whether or not they're actually doing the $40,000 a day. So I think honestly the fines have not been a big factor here. I think that they know that. CD's agent knows that. CD knows that. So it's the $1 million might be different though. It might be something to kind of get their attention. I know yesterday one of they did make a roster move. They just moved him from the roster and put him on a reserve did not report list. That just saves a roster spot so they can add some others. They added 3 players, 2 linebackers. So they just needed a roster spot. If he called right now and said, I'll be there, somebody's getting cut because he's getting on the team for sure. So, but to answer all your questions, I agree. The 12-5, it's just I've never looked at it that way. I don't ever think, well, look ahead. I try to do my best to stay in the moment. So, don't forget enjoying the ride. I mean, a 12-5 season, you say it doesn't mean anything, but think about it from the different perspective. Thanks for the call, champ. Think about it from this perspective. It's football season right now, okay? And we're excited. Everybody's excited. Everybody's excited about the team. Everybody, excited about what's going on. From September, October, November and December, you've got a football team that should give you a lot of excitement, a lot of joy. That's what being a football fan is the anticipation of all week. I hope they do this. Hope this guy can block this guy. I hope this guy's ankle's injury is, he's going to be fine. He's going to play. Whatever it is, you get to Sunday and you get that win. That's what being a fan is all about. And so think about if you're not 12-5. If you're 5-12, then you're watching the draft show. You're thinking about what we're gonna do, and who we get draft. So I think of it from the excitement we have for a football season, and you actually have a really good season. Now, all that being said, the bottom drops out when you lose in the playoffs, and all this you get excited. But if you're the type of person that says it was all for naught, that's just you. I cannot fathom that. I can't argue with you because I don't relate. I look at it from the ride, and man, it was fun. It was a good season, and you lose in the playoffs. Yeah, it was disappointing. I got asked last night. We had a media party last night in Malibu. It was great. I got asked the question, what was the worst loss? Worst playoff loss? Was it 2007? Was it 14? Was it 16? And to me, it was last year. I said it was last year. That's the worst loss in the playoffs that I can remember because the excitement of this team really might have something. You're the number 2 seed. You have 2 games at home if you can win them, and you're playing a team that barely got to the playoffs. This should be a blowout, and it was. It was a blowout, and that was a tough one. But does it mean that wasn't a good season? No, because I remember the 4 months, and I remember doing these shows with you guys and how exciting it was, and just connecting with the fans. And so that's the way I look at it. Like one game's not going to change what I feel like. The season is still one of the most disappointing losses, though. All right, Lewis in Langston, Oklahoma.
Hey, what's going on? I'm not going to hold you and talk about if it's better to be in the playoffs and not in the regular season. Like, honestly, I enjoy every game, every moment.
Right.
Even when we lose, I'm pretty sure I got my kids addicted to it now because you want to stare at the TV regardless if they're winning or losing. So, and don't get me wrong, I do want to win in the playoffs, but I'm not going to stress about that because you can't get to the playoffs without winning the regular season.
Right.
But so I with that being said, I was just gonna take it a little lighthearted because I had you trying to champion me to come to the game, to a few games this year, and so I was thinking, outside of being in Dallas and eating their food at the stadium and stuff, who has the best food in your opinion?
I'll take it off. Say that one more time, Lewis. Say that one more time.
I said who? Oh, okay, I said who outside of eating the food in Dallas, the stadium, and all of that, like who has the other 31 teams? Who has the best stadium you would like to visit, and who has the best food you would like to eat?
Food in the stadium?
Yeah, no. Who has the best stadium you like to visit?
Mm-hmm.
And who has the best food that you would like to eat when you do go out of town?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lewis.
Like I said. Later.
And we ask this question a lot in the media about road trips in general and like what's the best trip, and that factors in everything. I mean, everything about the trip that matters to us, length of the flight, and the press box food and the press box view and the elevator to get down to the field and how quickly and all this kind of stuff is, the weather at the stadium. But to answer your question on the stadium, Minnesota's always been pretty cool, especially this new stadium, because it is a cool fan experience. They get so loud and there's snowflakes flying and all that. And I mean, it seems so intimidating. However, the Cowboys have never lost there at that new stadium. So that's always been a cool, because it's a fun game, it's intense and all that, and the Cowboys play really well. So that's always been a cool experience is Minnesota. As for the food, and I think you're asking kind of food for the city. I don't know. I mean, New Orleans always has good food, but they also have good other things too, like, just more from a beverage standpoint too. So New Orleans is fun. I mean, look at me. I mean, I think all cities have good food. I mean, so I'm good with that. All right. We're going to move to David from Fort Worth. We're going to switch. Thanks for the call, Lewis. David, Fort Worth.
Yes, sir. How you doing today, brother?
How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Hey, I'm sorry. I realize that I'm, like, at this point, really just beating the crap out of this dead horse. I apologize, man. But I've been trying to get on since the show started, and I kind of just want to spill my heart out a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, man. I mean, I get what the caller was talking about initially yesterday. Like everybody else has said, I'm so sorry, again, that I'm repeating it. But it's like if I was going to get a performance evaluation at my job, and I did all the daily things pretty good, but when it came down to, like, a big project I didn't perform, they're going to take that in consideration when it comes to, like, my raises or whatever. And I think that's what he's talking about. But obviously, as far as, like, the regular season, I mean, the way I try to I made, like, a little analogy to Dylan and some other guys on the StoryLine community on Twitter. The way I kind of try to make it, like, put it in perspective is, like, if I told somebody, like, if the playoffs only matter, then don't watch any regular season games, like, none at all. Because if only the playoffs matter, then don't watch any regular season games. And if they don't make the playoffs, that means you might go a whole season without seeing any Dallas Cowboys games. And if you're not okay with that, then it's not about winning championships only for you. It's about the love of the game. It's about the love of the sport. It's about the love of this team. So, I mean, like I said, I know in 1,000 different ways you guys have already kind of covered that, but I really wanted to put that out there because if somebody told me that I could only watch the playoffs and they might win the Super Bowl, I'd be like, nah, man, like, I want to watch every single game. I want to watch every single snap. And I don't want, and I'm like you, I don't want anybody to tell me, like, hey, this happened in the game. If I need to take a break from it, like you mentioned before, you needed to walk around the neighborhood or something like that to clear your mind during a game. You'll come back and you'll finish it. I don't want to know what's going on. I need to experience it myself. I need to see every single snap, every single play. Like, that's just the way I'm built, man. So, again, a little bit passionate about that. I realize that I'm beating a dead horse. I apologize about that, but I wanted to share my feelings, brother. I appreciate you taking my call. I actually got a meeting at 10:30. I'm late, so
okay.
just want to. All right, brother.
Yeah. That's funny that you say that because you're like, yeah, just like you said, if you don't do well in the big projects, but yeah, there's all the other things that kind of lead up to those big projects, like being, punctual at meetings and actually being a good teammate and all these kind of things that make that work. I think one thing that's very clear here and we're talking about Michael in Colton, California, who calls a lot. He's very passionate. And a lot of other people now have kind of piggybacked on this and talking about me, what things I've said and all that stuff. And even David said, he does things differently. I think one thing is just very clear. It's that everybody is different in how they are a fan of the team. Everyone's different, and that's okay. But we're all kind of in this together. We're all in this Cowboys storyline. We're in this community. We care about the team. We care about what's going on at training camp and all that. Everybody's got their own passion. They just do it differently, And so, that's fine. That's what makes us kind of who we are and what we do. So hopefully we're not. I think we can kind of move on from this. I would like to. Just because nobody's right and no one's wrong. It's just how their perspective is, because at the end of the day, I know that the guy that was saying that about nothing matters but the postseason, he's going to watch every minute of these 3 preseason games, not to mention all of the regular season games. So it's really kind of a moot point. All right, let's go to Travis in San Antonio. Travis.
Hey, how's it going, Nick?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
All right.
I was just telling Chris eating some breakfast. I caught him what he ate for breakfast this morning, so we had a good little chit chat.
Cool.
I wasn't calling about that.
Good.
But my perspective on that, not to just real simple, is because it's only just as you said. You made the point that everyone has a different perspective, and real quick, my perspective is I'll enjoy the ride for sure. All of it. Like I said, especially all of us that call in, like we're going to enjoy the ride. I'm going to enjoy the season. But ultimately, if we don't win a Super Bowl, then to me, the season was a failure, which sounds negative, but it's not. It's 31 other teams also had a failure. So it's like, you got another season and you just go from there. So it's not like a super negative thing, but the ultimate goal is championship. If you don't get it, you don't get it, and we move on, right? So we go to the next season.
Yeah,
and
but
that, like you said, that ride continues.
Okay, but think
so
about
that's my perspective on that.
But think about failure, and think about when we were growing
I know,
up.
It's a little bit. That's why I said it's a little bit of a harsh word, but
Yeah, it is, because where does it stem from? It's them failed. It stems from when you're in school. If you failed, you failed. You can't move on. For me, and I was more of a C type student. It wasn't failure, but it wasn't acceptable. But you can still move on to it. So
yeah.
I don't know. Again, hey, we're all looking at this differently. You wouldn't be calling this show. Nobody's going to be calling this show on August the 6th and 7th if they didn't care.
Yeah, but see, the other thing is too, like that's why I said when I use it, it's not like how most people use the word fail, because fail in general has a negative connotation where it's like if you say you like fail, like it's this whole like big thing, like it's just we didn't achieve the goal. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Yep.
But I just want to see what you thought going into to change the topic, or maybe get some other things going. Going into this first preseason game, who are like the three guys that you're really going to try and maybe kind of look at and pay attention to?
Give me three, Travis. Give me three that you're looking at. Yeah, if you have some, and then I'll.
Well, I'm the El Presidente of the Mozzie Club, and I've noticed he's had 3 or 4 good practices. I don't know how much they're going to play, but if he's getting reps, which I imagine he would, he's one. I want to see how.
If he doesn't play, I will not understand that. Like I get the whole starters and stuff like that, but this dude needs to play. He needs to play football. Like I don't care about all that. It's been a month. He's got to go play. You can't be saving anybody, so I'd be shocked if they don't play him.
Me too. So that's the easy one for me, and then the other two are obviously like Trey. I want to see how Trey does, and I'll give you 4. John Stevens Jr. I want to see him again to see if he can build on what he did last year, just because of the injury, and then Kalen Carson on live reps.
Yeah, he's done a really
just want to
nice
see
job.
Your thought.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good names.
Have a great show.
You too.
Appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you so much, Travis. Those are good names. Those are names, Mozzie. I mean, Trey Lance is kind of given, right? 32 teams want to see what Trey Lance is going to do. I mean, everybody's looking at it, not just the Cowboys. I mean, everybody, and the 49ers too. Like, what did we trade away here? Everyone's interested on this guy. I mean, he was 3rd pick overall a couple years ago. He hasn't done anything yet. And hasn't had great practices out here, but you'll see what happens when the lights come on. Kalen Carson's a really good one too. I'd put him on my list. If I could add a couple here, I'm looking at the depth chart. Actually, I'm not sitting here looking at Twitter or anything like that. I'm looking at the depth chart that they just sent out. So I'm just kind of looking at some of the names. I'll be interested to any of the offensive linemen, like who they put out there. And I know that Beebe will play. He'll probably, what I would guess, he's the backup center here. I think they'll play Hoffman. I think Beebe will probably play. He could even start, or he could play some at guard. I wouldn't imagine Tyler Smith or Martin playing, so it could be Bass and Ball. But I would imagine that Beebe gets some reps at center and guard. So that'll be something to watch for sure. Willie Harvey's making a lot of plays at linebacker. I'd like to see him continue to make some plays. And these running backs, whoever gets the ball out there, I'm sure Malik Davis will get a lot. Hunter Lipke, those are good names. And any receiver that comes out here and does a really, really good job, but then what happens when the games come on. Tyron Billy Johnson's a name. Jalen Cropper. I mean, these guys are making a lot of plays out here. Let's see if they take it to the game. All right, Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good.
Nick, what was the name of the guy that called in a couple days ago that we're talking about? Do we know?
Which one?
The guy that said this regular season doesn't matter.
Oh, yes, Michael. Michael from Colton, California.
Michael, that was a great call. We're still talking about it, and that's how you know that was a great call.
That's the thing. That's good. Yeah. Anthony in Miami did it last year during a game. Said something about they didn't really have to win a Super Bowl, and boy, that sparked debate for like a week.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Of course, I agree. I don't disagree. Like you said, I'm watching every preseason. I'm watching, obviously, you. I'm watching the team, but he's got a point. You got to get over the hump, and it's now or never, especially what's taking place with the contracts. To me, and I don't know if other fans feel like this, it's easier for me when the Cowboys had no expectations. Like when Dak broke his ankle, the rest of that season to me was simple. Yeah. I watched the game not with the same intensity. It was like, hey, if we pull it out, great. Being a fan of a bad team to me is easy because you're going into the season with maybe we get 4 or 5 wins. Being a fan of a good team like the Cowboys, the Eagles, whoever, you're expecting more. And let's face it, last year what sucked the most is they overlooked Green Bay, and I think that's why they got blown out. And you're right, that was the worst loss. That one. And I thought the rookie year with Dak and Zeke, because I thought they could have been really dangerous. But last year was just we had everything lined up. But no, I mean, you just got to enjoy the ride. Travis, I love Travis. Travis is the president of the Mozzie fan club, I tell him. And he loves Mozzie, and I give him credit. He really watches him and follows him. And he's right. He'll post stuff, and he is. Mozzie looks better. Whatever they're doing, he looks better than last year. Now I have to see it in a game. And with the Dak issue, can you see a scenario where because I believe if they don't get Dak signed by the first game of the season, I don't think they sign him at all because I don't think he'll negotiate, and I don't think he'll take it. I think he'll just let it ride. And then it's going to get to a point where I think you're going to have to put him up for trade and just try it because you're going to get nothing.
Yeah, he has a no-trade clause too, so...
But a no-trade clause doesn't mean you can't trade.
Yeah, but when are you trading him? You trading him at the end of the season?
No. During the season.
Oh.
You can't wait to the end of the season. Once the end of the season, he's a free agent. Nobody would trade because they know he's gone.
Yep.
And I truly believe he's gone. If you don't sign him before the season starts, Dak has no problem betting on himself.
He'll be signed.
Let's be honest, he's won.
I know.
You're
right about that. He does bet on himself, but he's gonna be signed. I really believe that they'll both be signed. I think they'll both be signed by the start of the season. Rob, do you have another call? We are trying to get another break in. Do you have another question?
No. I'm sorry. No. Go grab somebody else.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. Really good stuff. And you did make a really good point when you said, about good teams. It's hard. It's easier to be a fan of a bad team and a good team. This is actually worse. This is like being a fan of a good team with great expectations. It's being a fan of a good team and a great franchise, a great organization, because you're not comparing this team for what they did last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. You're comparing what they did 30 years ago and 50 years ago in the playoffs. That's what you care about. That's the standard, and that's what's tough. That's what's tough for the Cowboys. It's what's tough for Notre Dame. It's tough for the University of Texas. It's tough for the Yankees and the Lakers because their seasons are judged by what Magic Johnson did, and Notre Dame, and all. You know what I mean? And that's it, and it's great. That's why we have all this. But that doesn't necessarily. It's not fair to these guys because sometimes they're not good enough to compete at that same level and that same standard. There's a good, solid team, but they're getting these great, phenomenal standards, and it's not always easy. Hey, no one's crying about it. This is fun. This is why we're here. It's why we get to do this. But the reality is a lot of times the teams haven't been good enough to match the expectations that come with it. That's fair. That's just is what it is. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on Storyline.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys!
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
All right, guys, I got the Cowboys Star Magazine training camp preview. It's available now. You can get yours if you go to DallasCowboys.com/star. We got one more caller we want to take here. Jose in Houston. Jose, what's up, man?
What's up, Nick?
How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Hey, man, my question is, it has to do with, as far as contracts, man. CD, we got these 3 players who need to get signed,
Yep.
And my thing is, you see these record contracts being said. I think Jordan Love, they just signed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Justin Jefferson not too long ago. So, is Jerry just waiting for the salary? I mean, what is that? What do they call that? The salary cap to rise, revenue every year goes up. Or he just doesn't want to pay these guys?
No,
what's going on?
He wants to pay, and the players are playing hardball too. It's definitely two-way street. It's not something that it's just Jerry sitting back going, I don't need them. I don't want these guys. No, they're trying to make this thing work, especially because there's 3 of them. You're seeing these guys, these deals, but come back to me if you're seeing these teams do 3 mega deals like that or 2 back-to-back. I mean, it's the easiest thing to do because they're all sitting right there. And Micah is not on the back burner. They're thinking about Micah when they think about these other 2. So there are 3. They're not going to be 3 done right now, but there's 3 in their mind when they are thinking about this. And I say 3, there's probably 4 or 5. There's other guys, too, that they want to sign, on the second and third tier.
That's true. That happens when you draft well, I believe,
Yeah.
You either get free agents or, the free agents you bring them when you don't draft well. But, the Trevon Diggs deal looking like a deal now? I mean, I'm seeing these people we just signed them last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
Trevon Diggs got his extension?
Yeah, he got an extension last year, and,
Yeah.
I mean, he got hurt.
And my thing is,
yeah,
that's true, it happens, but, and the thing is, CD not being in camp, I know that first that defense against the Browns coming up, that's a tough defense. So I kind of wish he was in camp, but I imagine trying to get paid. Hopefully he doesn't throw off the timing, like his first getting into game action and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm just wondering what was taking these long for these contracts,
Yeah, and I wish I had a good answer on what's taking so long. There's just so many things about that. But I'll say this: I mean, that we're still. I'm looking at the Star magazine here. They've got this. They should have a schedule right in the middle of. Somebody already ripped the schedule out of this one, but no, there it is. So September the 8th. Let's say August 7th. I mean, 30 days, 31 days, something like that.
Yeah.
32 days.
Yeah.
32 days before the first game.
Yeah.
I think CD.
We got the Browns, right, and then the Saints.
Yeah, Browns and Saints.
Some tough defenses. But
exactly. My point is, I think CD, he could be out for 2 more weeks. He didn't even come to Oxnard. join the team.
Okay.
And I think that there would be enough time. This is not a new offense. This is not new terminology. I think he would be fine. I think he'll be in shape and he'll be ready to go. So, he's not going to play in any of the preseason games, whether he's here or not. So his first action, in real game is going to be against Cleveland. So I think he'll be there, and I think he'll get back in time where it's not going to be a big problem. So.
All right. Got you, man. Just wondering, man.
Good stuff. Good call. Thank you. Got to 10 calls. You guys were great. And we could hear for the most part. The one guy that was calling right off the bat, Michael in Bowling Green, his question was about, finally I could figure it out. His question was about Stephon Gilmore, and do you think Gilmore will be back? He's still a free agent. I don't know how eager he is to sign with someone. He's coming off a shoulder injury. Should be fine. I think the price tag is probably a little high. It happens a lot with these guys. They want to play football this year. They don't really want to go to training camp, and most people don't. So it's kind of like their price tag is here. Oh, you want me to sign right now and go to camp? This is my price tag. It'll probably go down a little bit when that's what it takes to get you to camp. I would imagine Gilmore he's not the only one that are kind of in that boat. So no big deal. I don't think he'll be here though. I really don't. I think that the Cowboys feel like they've got Diggs is getting back in it. Bland, they got Bland, of course. Jordan Lewis, Kalen Carson looks pretty good. Nashawn Wright's having some good moments here and there. I want to see Nashawn Wright in the game. That's one guy I really would like to see and see play well. But that'll do it for this show here. Remember, we've got Cowboys break coming up here in just a few minutes, so if you get a chance to stay with them, they'll be coming to you live. We'll be back Friday show. Sorry, we have all these little changes here, but we will be here Friday for the last storyline of the week. So for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you Friday on Cowboys Storyline. See you guys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!